just didn't like my life. Not forever, not every day, but enough days that I quietly wondered, is this all life is ever going to be for me? It wasn't that I wanted somebody else's life. I just wanted mine to feel different, to feel lighter and happier. I wanted to stop feeling like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wanted to wake up with hope instead of waking up wondering what new challenge the day was going to throw at me. And maybe you've been there too. Welcome to the Bounce Back Black Woman podcast. I'm Dell, coach, author, mom, and your sister along this journey of healing, growth, resilience, and living more intentionally. As Black women, we know all too well that life can break our hearts in more ways than one. But here in this space, we heal, grow, rebuild, and bounce back together. Because it's not just you. It's not just me. It's us. Hey there, my friend, and welcome back to Bounce Back Black Woman. Over the next few weeks, we're going to have a different kind of conversation. A conversation built around one simple and commonly used word. And that word is sometimes. And the reason that we are sticking with sometimes is because one of the greatest lies that pain and hardship and sadness ever tells us is that sometimes means always. Life is complicated, and so are our emotions. By allowing ourselves to be truthful about what we're feeling in the current season, we can honor the feelings that we have without feeling shame, without self-judgment, and best of all, without the expectation that it will last forever. You see, healing isn't always linear, and growth isn't always obvious. And some of our greatest lessons are learned in seasons that we never would have chosen for ourselves. And so today, I want to begin with something that many of us have thought. And yes, I said us. But very few of us have ever admitted out loud. Sometimes we just don't like our life. Now, before anyone misunderstands what I'm saying, I'm not talking about hating your life. I'm not talking about wishing that you weren't here. I'm not talking about wishing that your children had never been born or about rejecting every blessing that God has given you. I'm actually talking about something much quieter, much more common. I'm talking about looking around at your life's circumstances and quietly thinking, I just don't like my life right now. Maybe every month feels like a math problem to come out on the positive end of your dollars. You pay one bill only to wonder how you're going to pay the next one. Maybe you've become the caregiver for the parent who once cared for you, and you love them deeply. You wouldn't abandon them for anything, but if you're being honest, sometimes you miss having a life that feels like your own and the freedom that comes with that. Maybe you're working in a job that is slowly siphoning the life out of you. Every Sunday afternoon, your stomach starts to tighten because Monday morning is coming around the corner. Maybe you're grieving, not just someone that you've lost. Maybe you're grieving the life that you thought you were going to have. Maybe you're navigating divorce or betrayal, or a medical diagnosis that you never expected. Maybe you're watching your friends get married and travel and buy homes and celebrate promotions while your own life feels like it's standing still. Maybe you've spent so much time caring for everyone else that somewhere along the way you stopped taking care of yourself. Or maybe you've simply been surviving for so long that you honestly can't remember the last time you were excited about your own future. And friend, that's what I'm talking about. Not wishing that you had somebody else's life, not wishing that your life would end, just quietly wishing that your own life felt different, was different. And I felt moved to write this episode because I've been there. There were seasons in my own life where I loved the people in my life. I loved my children and my friends. I loved my faith. But if I was being completely honest, I just didn't like my life. Not forever, not every day, but enough days that I quietly wondered, is this all life is ever going to be for me? It wasn't that I wanted somebody else's life. I just wanted mine to feel different, to feel lighter and happier. I wanted to stop feeling like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. I wanted to wake up with hope instead of waking up wondering what new challenge the day was going to throw at me. And maybe you've been there too. Maybe you're there now. Maybe you smiled because that's what everyone else expected from you. Or you kept showing up for work, kept taking care of your family, kept serving everyone around you. But meanwhile, your own heart was quietly whispering, Lord, how much longer is this going to last? My friend, one of the greatest gifts that we can give ourselves is permission to tell ourselves the truth. Not the whole world, not social media, not even everybody that's close to us, but just to ourselves. Because healing doesn't begin when we finally have all the answers. Healing begins when we finally stop pretending that we are okay. So here's the shift. You know what I think many of us do? We immediately begin correcting ourselves. Saying all the things. I shouldn't complain. Other people have it worse. At least I have X, Y, Z, and 1, 2, 3. And my friend, those statements may all be true, but they don't erase what you're feeling. Gratitude and disappointment can exist at the very same time. You can love your family and still wish that your life felt lighter. You can appreciate God's blessings and still be exhausted by the weight that you are carrying. You can trust God and still wonder why this season has lasted so very long. Those things aren't opposites. They're part of being human. Sometimes we don't dislike our life because we've made terrible choices. Sometimes we don't like our life because life just happened to us. Somebody died, a relationship ended, a job disappeared, or your health changed, or your responsibilities multiplied. Dreams got postponed, or maybe the life you have simply unfolded differently than the way that you imagined it would. Friend, that doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you honest. And honesty is where healing can begin. There was a season in my life where I genuinely couldn't see a way out. And it makes me emotional when I think about it even today, because the prayers didn't seem to be getting answered the way that I had hoped they would. Every day looked a lot like the day before. And if I'm honest, there were moments when I wondered, is this just what my life is now? Maybe you've wondered that too. Maybe you're wondering it today as you listen to this episode. But can I lovingly challenge that thought? Just because something has lasted a long time doesn't mean that it's permanent. I didn't know when things would change. I certainly didn't know how they'd change. But somewhere deep inside, God kept reminding me, this is not the end of your story. And that quiet hope didn't erase my sadness. It didn't make the grief hurt less. It didn't suddenly open doors. It simply gave me enough strength to take one more step, and then another, and then another. And looking back now, I'm so grateful that I didn't make permanent decisions based on temporary seasons. Because if I had, I would have missed this podcast. I would have missed the women that I've been blessed to coach and the opportunity to write my book, the opportunities to speak life into other people, the friendships, the healing, and the peace. None of those were visible then, but God was already preparing them. My friend, I wonder what He's preparing for you right now, even though you can't see it yet. There's a passage in 1 Peter 5, verse 10, from the New Living Translation that says, "In His kindness, God called you to share in His eternal glory by means of Christ Jesus. So after you have suffered a little while, He will restore, support, and strengthen you, and He will place you on a firm foundation." Notice what that verse doesn't say, my friend. It doesn't promise that we won't suffer. It doesn't tell us exactly how long the season will last. But it does promise something incredibly important. Suffering is never the destination. Restoration is, support is, and strength is. A firm foundation is. My friend, God has never stopped writing your story, even in the chapters that you wish that you could skip. So this week, I'm not asking you to force yourself to love every part of your life. That's not realistic. Instead, I want you to be ruthlessly honest. What is it that you don't like about your life right now? Is it your circumstances? Is it your exhaustion, your finances, your loneliness, your work, your grief, your fear? Whatever it is, give it a name. When you name it, it comes out of hiding. You don't name it so you can stay there. You name it so that you can begin moving through it. And once you name it, then ask yourself one simple question. What is one intentional choice that I can make this week that moves me toward the life that I am praying for? Maybe it's just updating your resume. Maybe it's making one simple phone call or scheduling the counseling appointment. Maybe it's just taking a walk. Maybe it's asking someone for help. Maybe it's praying an honest prayer to God instead of pretending that you're okay. And that prayer may move you to tears, my friend. But that's where you let it all out. Because sometimes one intentional step is enough to remind us that this season doesn't get the final word. And so until next time, I want you to remember, my friend, while this season may be yours sometimes, God never intended for it to become your forever. So keep healing, keep growing, and keep bouncing back. And I'll see you in the next episode. Well, that's it for today, my friend. I really hope this episode inspired, encouraged, or just plain comforted you. If so, please share it with a friend who might be struggling in her own healing journey. And if you take a moment to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts, you'll help other women find encouragement through their heartbreak. Remember that God is holding your hand along this journey, and guess what? I'm holding the other. Life is short, so bounce back, Black woman.